Beside still waters, beside still waters.
Hi folks, welcome to today's Meditating with Isaiah. This is the last week we're going to be doing this. Isaiah 55, we are up to verse 12. We looked at, you will go out in joy and be led forth in peace. The mountains and hills will burst into song before you, is where we're at. The idea of the singing mountains, that's a wonderful thing. I don't know what you feel about mountains and hills, but growing up and ministering in the Scottish Highlands, I loved them, absolutely. I loved going walking with my mum. I loved going fishing in the mountains. The changing light, the stunning beauty, and I understand this singing thing. Here in Australia, we go to the Blue Mountains where our daughter lives, and again, there's some stunning photographs of those. I think the photo I put on the front is in the Scottish Highlands. But I think this idea of nature rejoicing, you know, the creation. So in Romans 8, you've got this idea of the creation groaning, but you've also got the creation rejoicing. I was just looking at the way Isaiah mentions mountains. They get mentioned a lot in the Bible. And, you know, you can think of Mount Sinai, you can think of the Mount of Olives and so on. But I just wanted to go through some of the verses from Isaiah. So Isaiah 5, verse 25. Therefore the Lord's anger burns against his people, his hand is raised and he strikes them down. The mountains shake and the dead bodies are like refuge in the street. When the mountains shake, it's it's seen as a sign of God's anger. That's used in that way. And then in chapter 13 and verse 2, raise a banner on a bare hilltop, shout to them, beckon to them to enter the gates of the noble. That's the kind of, Lord of the Rings thing where the beacons are lit on the mountains. How lovely on the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news. Verse 4, listen, a noise on the mountains like that of a great multitude. And that's, again, this idea of God coming in power. Chapter 14 and verse 25. I will crush the Assyrian in my land, on my mountains. I will trample him down. His yoke will be taken from my people, and his burden removed from their shoulders. Then chapter 22 and verse 5. The Lord has a day of tumult and trampling and terror in the valley of vision, a day of battering down walls and of crying out to the mountains. And that's crying out to the mountains for help. I to the hills will lift mine eyes, from whence doth come mine aid. And that's looking to the hills and not saying, oh, my help is coming from the mountains, but it's saying, where's the help going to come from? And it comes from the Lord. Chapter 30 as well. Don't worry, I'm not going to do them all, but 1,000 will flee at the threat of one, at the threat of 5 you will all flee away, till you are left like a flagstaff on a mountaintop, like a banner on a hill. And this idea of the Lord's people being banners on a hill, flagstaff on the mountaintop. What else? 34. In chapter 34 and verse 3, their slain will be thrown out, the mountains will be soaked with their blood. That's the mountains of judgment. So you've got the mountains of judgment, you've got the mountains of rejoicing, you've got the mountains as a sign. Chapter 40, I love this. Every valley shall be raised up, and every mountain and hill made low. Chapter 9, verse 9 of that. You who bring good news to Zion, go up on a high mountain. So the mountains being leveled to make a way for the Lord. Mountains seen as an obstacle, which God goes through. Then mountains being seen as a place where you proclaim. And then verse 12 as well. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, or with the breadth of his hand marked of the heavens? Who has held the dust of the earth in a basket, or weighed the mountains on the scales and the hills in a balance? And that's just these marvelous mountains. You know, as I say, you walk amongst them and you're awed by them. You maybe visit Ayers Rock here in Australia, and God carries them in the palm of his hand. He weighs them himself. And I think that's a lovely image. Let the people of Selah, 42:11, sing for joy. Let them shout from the mountain tops. I will lay waste the mountains and hills and dry up all their vegetation. So you see that over and over again, that mountains are used as a symbol of judgment. They're used as a symbol of witness. They're used to illustrate God's power and beauty. But in Isaiah 55, they are used to bring joy. The mountains and the hills sing, burst into song before you. It's just such a great image, isn't it? Just such a great image. Well, God bless you. May you know the singing mountains. May you know the joy of the Lord. And today, first day of the week, it's Monday. We shall hopefully see you again tomorrow. Again, sorry for this being slightly late, and for me looking a wee bit dishevelled. What's new? I've just cycled back from work, and I think it's time for a swim and a shower. All right, God bless you. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Beside still waters,